What really separates high-ranked players from low-ranked players? Does a good aim help? Sure. What about nasty movement? Maybe. Or maybe it's all about having 1000 olive skins in your inventory.
I like money!
Well, no. Skins do not equal skills. Unless I get my hands on the a.k.a. malware, that's surely gonna boost my skills. Right? So, let's talk about Gamesense. Gamesense is basically a game knowledge plus knowing how to use it to your advantage. Today though, I'll be focusing on the knowledge side, and I'll show you a few details that can instantly level up your game. But if you already know all of these details, you must be
Wizard Harry.
Huh?
Why don't we start with the kind of recent addition, Incendiary? And it's really interesting utility in my opinion, because it's kinda dynamic. Sometimes it can climb up, and sometimes it can drop down.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
So what is the deal here? Well, to put it simply, there is some threshold that the fire can climb up, and also how far it can drop down. And essentially anything under that threshold, the fire will climb up and also drop down. Of course, there's a couple of exceptions where the fire will drop down more than it should, but that would take too long for this video. What you need to focus on is that the threshold for drop down mechanic is much bigger than the climb up mechanic. So essentially you should always try to avoid landing the incendiary on the ground, and try to make lineups that land on top of objects to eliminate multiple spots at once. Alrighty, let's break down hitboxes real quick. In the simplest terms, I would say that hitbox is just an invisible shape around a character that kinda decides what counts as a hit and what doesn't. Different games handle this very differently. In Overwatch, the hitboxes can be pretty generous, to be honest. Most of the time bigger than the actual character, which is odd, but alright. In CSGO, the hitbox is super precise, matching body parts very closely. And in Battlefield, for example, depends of course on the engine, but usually have quite detailed and often they include extra gear around the body. But in Critical Ops, the system is slightly simpler. The hitbox of course covers the head, limbs and the main body and doesn't include any of the gadgets. But what is interesting that it also cuts off at the hands and feet. So now you know why your shots might not connect on enemies' feet standing behind the truck.
Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear.
Next up, let's talk about flashbangs and the blinding effect. Normally, as you probably should already know, if you throw a flash and it pops in your line of sight, you're fully blinded. And if you don't wanna get blinded, you need to look away quite a lot, making your crosshair placement pretty bad, to be honest. That's just sadly how currently the flashes work. But here's something a lot of players might have not realized. If there's smoke between you and the flash effect gets nerfed by a mile. In fact, you don't even need to turn away, the smoke filters most of the blinding effect. This means that if you have smoke in front of you and you throw the flashbang past the smoke, you can hold your crosshair on the angle instead of making your crosshair placement bad by turning away. And to be honest, I'm not certain if this is a bug, but whatever the case, now you know one more detail that you can utilize in the aggressive plays. Now let's talk about aimpunch. If you didn't already know, aimpunch happens every time you take a bullet. Basically, your crosshair kicks up. The strength of that aimpunch depends on two things. Are you wearing armor? And where did you get hit? Pretty straightforward, right? Well, there's actually a small exception most players don't realize. Normally, your aim punch kicks your aim up. But if your opponent is above you, the aim punch actually drags your aim down instead. And here's why that's kinda rough. When you're recoil controlling in gunfights, you're already pulling your aim down, so when aimpunch also pushes your aim down as well, your spray gets completely thrown off, and you'll probably lose that duel. Now combine this with critical ops allowing full accuracy while mid-air, and suddenly jump peeking from above becomes way stronger than you would expect. You're accurate while your enemy's crosshair is fighting against invisible gravity. So next time you're fighting someone holding a high ground, keep in mind you're not just in a bad position, the mechanics themselves are working against you. So when people talk about Gamesense, this is what they mean. Knowing these smaller details about how the game works and then actually using them to your advantage. It's the difference between reacting randomly and making informed plays that can win you the rounds. That's all for today's video. If even one of these details was new for you, then that makes me happy. Let me know in the comments below if there is something new you want me to cover, and yeah, see you in the next video. Bye bye!